Hello, happy Sunday. So excited to be speaking about this topic tonight of how to overcome fear of failure and anxiety. It's a big one, it's an exciting one. Woo! As you're jumping on, say hi. Hey Gemma. What is something magical, something you're grateful for that happened today on this beautiful Sunday? So in a moment, we're going to be diving into a few different concepts around how to overcome fear of failure and anxiety. And at the end, I'm going to give you some really gold nuggets and some actual tangible strategies that will support you to actually not only shift your perspective and shift the way that you looked at things in terms of failing and in terms of anxiety, but apply these things and you'll achieve whatever it is that you want. And you'll create something new in your world. Your reality will now no longer be the same. So that's exciting. Who's excited? Woo! Give me a hell yeah. So I'm excited because this is, I feel now more than ever, this is such an important conversation. Excuse me. And I see so many people really experiencing challenges in these areas, and I'm excited to be able to give back and to be able to share my beautiful, amazing gifts that I have to support you and those people that you know and love. So if you know someone who experiences anxiety or is holding themselves back because they're scared of failing, then tag them in this. So hopefully you've been able to watch and experience some of the other content, some of the other incredible information that I've been sharing over the last 4 days, because all of that really helps and supports what I'm going to be sharing today as well. Hi, Mary. As you're jumping on, say, share something of what was magical for you today, something that you're grateful for this beautiful day. And I'm going to be diving in a moment on how to overcome fear of failure and anxiety. And I'm going to be sharing something actually that I've never shared publicly. This is a model that I have only shared in my trainings. I've only shared in my coaching one-on-one and my groups. And I'm really excited to be able to share it with you guys today. Who's excited? So firstly, what I want to speak on is that there's two realms that we live in. We either live in the realm of meaning or the realm of now. Oh, amazing, Mary. Good to hear that. So the realm of meaning is the realm where we give meaning to things. You give meaning to all of the events that happen in your life. You give meaning to all of the circumstances, situation, all the conversations, all the things that happen in your existence, in your life, in your reality. And you add meaning into those things. Let's say, for an example, you're scrolling on Facebook and you see somebody on a holiday or living somewhere you want to live or putting themselves out there, anything at all. And you look at that and then you add on meaning for yourself. So you make it mean about you that you don't have what you want and that you wish you were that person, or you wish you were there, not necessarily that person, but you wish that you had that life, or that person is a fraud, or who do they think they are putting themselves out there like that, or whatever it is, whatever. We as humans, all of us, we do it. All of us, we do that. We give things meaning. And so in the giving things meaning, we're living in the realm of meaning. And when we add meaning to things, then we create our own suffering through the meaning that we give it. Because do we actually know that that is the truth? Is that the truth? No. No. It's not the truth. It's just the meaning that we're giving it. Someone could look at you a certain way and you make it mean that that person doesn't like you, or that they're judging you, or that they have an opinion of you, or that they think you're something. Whatever it is that you want to give it meaning, right? That you're not enough, or you're unworthy, or you're whatever. So you add on all the meaning from your model of the world, which is from your values and attitudes and belief systems and all the things that go on. Hi, Ed. Nice to hear from you. Taiwan. Whoop, whoop. So, it could be something like a conversation that you've had and someone has said something to you and then you've made that mean something. It could be you not showing up or you feeling a certain thing, whatever, like all the things, every single aspect of life, what we do is we give it meaning. Are you getting this? Can you relate to giving things meaning when you actually don't know the facts, you don't know the truth of what's really going on? And so when you live in the realm of meaning, quite often you're living in this land of fantasy almost because you're making it up. You're making it up. We're making it up. Right? We're making it all up. And this is the realm of meaning. And the realm of meaning is where you create your own suffering because you make up the fact that that person doesn't like you, or you're not enough, or you're not worthy, or you're not loved, or you're scared, or you're this, or you're that, or you see the worst case scenarios playing out. You see the things that you don't want to have happen, and you see that because of the meaning that you're giving it. Let's say, for an example, failure. Let's say you had the idea to start your own business, but you don't go and do it because in your head you give it meaning. And the meaning is that, what if I fail? What if I don't make the money? And so we add in all this meaning into the situation, into the idea. And by adding in the meaning, you're creating your own suffering in that because none of it is true unless you accept it to be your truth. And even if you accept it, it's still not your truth. It's just what you're taking on, right? As being the belief, perhaps, or just the internal dialogue that goes inside of your head, that inner critic that goes on. It goes on. Hey, babe. Come on. Come on. I love that. Leighton here. Tennis fan, way back. Anyway, hello, Dave from Ballina. Amazing. Yeah, cool. Glad you can relate. Yep. Awesome. It is debilitating, Jim. It really is. And so, so in the living in the realm of meaning, which is where most of us live, if you're experiencing fear of failure, and that fear is holding you back from actually taking the action that you would really love to take and you're really maybe excited about, but there's something there which is the stories that you're telling yourself, which is the meaning that you're giving the thing, then yeah, you will experience this. And the same with anxiety. If you're living in the realm of meaning, but Curtis, what's that noise down there?
It's the blinds.
Oh, okay. Can you?
Sorry.
Thanks. And so in the realm, in anxiety is the same thing in the sense of anxiety can only be created when we're focusing on what we don't want. Anxiety is fear of the future. It is fear of things not going the way that we would like them to go, the way that we would really love them to end up. So instead we're focusing on what we don't want to have happen, worst case scenario. And in the focus on that, then we're living in the realm of meaning. We're giving something meaning that hasn't actually happened yet and quite likely will not happen. And in the creating our focus on the meaning that we're giving something out in the future that could happen, we're creating our own suffering. And so this is where I'm so passionate about teaching people on how to overcome this, because that's the realm of meaning. None of this is the truth. None of this is real. This is just what you're adding into it. And so if we can shift this, if we can change this, you can change your reality. You can create anything it is that you want. The question is, how do we do that? And the thing is, we're not taught how to do it. We're not, unless you're investing in yourself and in your own mindset and in your own mental development, your mindset training, which is neurolinguistic is all about. It's training the mind, it's understanding the mind, the mindset, how it works, how we communicate, how we like moving the emotions from the past, shifting, releasing, clearing all those emotions from the past, like fear, so that we can actually step into creating a new reality. And so because we don't know how to do it, we stay stuck in this, and we stay in this realm of meaning. So I'm going to give you a couple of really cool things that are going to help support you to get out of that today. Does that sound good? Whoop, whoop, give me a whoop, whoop, give me a whoop, whoop. Hello, everyone. As you're jumping on, say hello. And so, so I spoke about the realm of meaning. Now let's talk about the realm of now. The realm of now is when we're living in this moment, in the now moment, like now, and then now, and then now, and now. Every time I say now, that moment's gone and we're into the new moment. So living in the realm of now is where we can create anything that we want. Now, easier said than done, right? But again, there's aspects that I'm going to be teaching you today that will support you to actually focus on living in the now moment. When we can strip back all of the meaning that we're giving the things, and when we can strip back all of the meaning and actually live connected and in this moment, like what we used to do when we were born and we were little toddlers, little infants running around between the ages, 0 to 5, 0 to 6-ish. We were just little unconscious minds living in the present moment. Can you remember? If you can't remember, maybe you have a 5-year-old, you've had a 4 or 5-year-old and you see them, or you've known someone who has. And as you see those little humans running around as little unconscious minds, meaning that they're living in this moment because they don't have the logical part of their minds developed yet, the consciousness, the conscious mind developed yet, which is where we create all of the meaning. They're just living in the moment, which is why when kids have a kick out and they like have a meltdown and they express their emotion, it's so magical. They feel what they're feeling. They're feeling sad, they're feeling angry, they're feeling one of those generally early on, maybe scared, that they express what it is that they're experiencing, and they get it out, have a tantrum on the floor in the shopping mall. If you're a mum, you can relate to your 4 or 5-year-old, 3-year-old having that happen. And as soon as they're done, they're fine. And they don't think about it. They don't go back and talk about it. They don't hold on to it. They don't bring it back at all. It's done. They don't even remember that happened anymore because they're so living in this moment. And so we need to be able to come back to that, come back to being able to live in the moment, let go of all the stuff that happens, not give it more meaning, not hold on to it, but to allow ourselves to have the feeling, feel the anger. Yeah, feel it, express it, release it, get it out, shift it out of your body, and then boom, cool. Next, get back into your power, into this moment. This is where the power lives, in this moment. Because when we're in this moment and we're not living in the stories, in the meaning that we're giving things, the realm of meaning, when we're not living in that realm and you're living in this realm of now, we're connected. We're connected to Source, the divine creator, whatever you want to call her or him, she, him, God, universe, spirit, whatever it is you want to call it, God, Allah, whoever, I don't care, doesn't matter, same. We're talking about the same thing, right? The greater force. When you can actually connect with that and be in this moment with yourself and the divine creator, then guess what? You can come from the truth of who you are. Love, passion, freedom, peace, abundance, faith, all the things. But we've forgotten, we've been learning kind of the wrong way. We need to unlearn and go back without going back, because who wants to go back? We keep going forward. But we need to unlearn these patterns and these programs that we've developed to give all this stuff meaning. And of course, a lot of it ties into our past wounds, our past significant emotional events and trauma that has happened where we've given that meaning too. So for an example, when I was finishing high school and I had an event happen with my girlfriends, and all of my friends abandoned me, and I felt so devastated. And that event with other females where I was abandoned because of something that I chose to do, I was so devastated. And so that led to choices that I made in my life. I gave meaning to allowing myself to get close to other women for a long, long time. And I also continued to keep myself safe in situations where I wouldn't experience that kind of thing again. Does that make sense? I wouldn't experience that level of devastation again, because that was too painful. And so this is what we do. We give these things meaning. It could be an emotion that we have, or it could be I'm not good enough, or another decision that was made in that moment. And so through that in itself is giving something meaning. It's not the truth. And we can take that on as part of our identity. And when that becomes our identity of who we think we are, then we continue to live into that reality, because if that's who we think we are, then we're going to continue to see that, because that's what at the unconscious level is what we've decided, and we've stored that at the unconscious level. That is a belief or an emotion that hasn't potentially been released and moved and shifted, and we hold on to that, and then we continue to live in this realm of meaning. So, of course, powerful process. I spoke about it yesterday, to be able to clear, when I work with my clients, and what I teach in my trainings is beautiful technique to be able to release and clear those emotions from the past and those limiting decisions and limiting beliefs. So that helps support being able to not live here in this realm of meaning, and to get in to live in the realm of now. Obviously, there are tons of other ways to manage it, to live and practice, to live in the realm of now. Meditation is a great one, which is why it's so powerful, and why people go, I'm not good at it. Because when you start it, you're not used to sitting in silence. You're not used to sitting in stillness, because we're used to this, going on and on and on, giving things meaning, do. Because in the meaning realm, doing things makes us feel worthy. Doing things makes us feel like we're getting somewhere, doing something, moving forward. Whereas sitting in silence and being in this moment now is something that is a practice that is so, so powerful. And I started that way back in my 20s. And I was terrible when I started. But it's the practice of training the mind to be still. And that is a really great practice, to practice being here in this moment. Yoga as well. Music. Putting music on, being connected in the moment, because when you're listening to music, you're just feeling the good vibes, and you're in the moment, and generally you're not thinking about anything else. If you're actually really connecting to the music and the feel of the music and the words and the lyrics and everything, and you're just in this moment now, where it feels joyful and amazing and fulfilling and incredible. So the practice is to get out of giving things meaning when it's not the facts, and to be able to also identify when you are actually, what's really happening is you're feeling maybe one of the beliefs that you have running of not feeling good enough, or feeling unworthy or unloved or whatever. And quite often, those are the things we want to avoid, which is also what ties into being scared of failing. And so one of the NLP presuppositions is that there is no failure, there is only feedback. And so while you may have heard this, let me know if you've heard this before. There is no failure, there is only feedback. Or if this is brand new, amazing. Sometimes we can know something logically, can know something in our analytical, logical, conscious mind, but we don't actually fully embody it and get it at a DNA, like cellular level, that there is no such thing as failure, because it's all purely just feedback. Everything that happens in the outside world is feedback. It's a feedback loop of anything that is going on inside my world and I'm seeing outside of me is feedback of actually what's going on in my world. And so everything therefore is feedback of how I've done it or how I've not done it, and how I can take that on as feedback to do it better the next time, or to do it differently the next time. And so when I was wanting to go back into my coaching and training business full-time, I had many years prior. I started business when I was in my early 20s. I started network marketing, and I was terrible at selling. Usually the case, because when we go from a level of thinking and experience where we work for somebody else and someone else tells us, when we do what we do, or just go in, do the job, and we go. We don't need to sell necessarily unless you're in sales. That's one level of thinking. And in order to shift into another level of thinking, and entrepreneurship and business is another level of thinking, it requires more complexity of thinking because there's more things that you have to factor in and consider as a business owner and as an entrepreneur, like finances and all that, tax laws and things like that, and marketing and sales. There's so much to it that you didn't necessarily have to know as an employee of a company. And so having to learn those things require developing new skills. And so if you haven't got those skills before, of course, you're not going to be great at it. And so you have to develop those skills. And I had to develop those skills. And I started presenting. I was kind of a spokesperson for the product that I was working with, because I was Miss Fitness Australasia and traveled to San Diego. I presented on a big stage to thousands of people. I did all of these things that really stepped me outside of my comfort zone. And but that was when my entrepreneurship started over 20 years ago. And I felt like I really sucked for a long, long time. And I did. I had a little bit of success, and then I also had a personal training studio, and my personal training studio did okay, but it wasn't highly successful. And so I ended up selling that and moved to Asia. And so those experiences, I felt as though I was a bit of a failure because I didn't achieve the level that I wanted. Even though I didn't fail, I felt that way because I didn't achieve the level that I wanted. And so I had apprehension and fear going into stepping out of an industry that I absolutely loved, that I was the only thing that I knew. 23 years in the fitness industry, it was what I was known for, who I was known for. I had my brand built up for it. I had a phenomenal job that everyone wanted, and I was traveling the world. I was doing amazing things. However, I was unfulfilled because I knew there was more for me, and I wanted to keep growing and expanding and challenging myself. And so taking that leap of faith was really big, and I'm so grateful for putting myself through NLP training at the NLP practitioner level and the master practitioner level, because it was through that I was able to really quickly deal with releasing my fear from the past, specifically fear all in general, fear of failure as well, and actually releasing all of that through the process that I teach in my trainings and with my one-on-one clients. And so I really quickly was able to make some incredible changes and start to put myself out there more and let go of that. And I also was able, because I was working on my mind and working on how I viewed things, I was able to shift my perspective and really embody the statement of there is no failure, there is only feedback. And so if you are someone who is either going into entrepreneurship, or you've just gone in there and you're still working in a company or whatever, there are certain skills that you've got to develop to really excel, like sales and marketing, and being willing to put yourself out there and face off with people who are going to say your product's no good or you suck or whatever. It's being so certain within yourself, having the confidence within yourself that you know what you're a stand for, you know what your vision is and what your mission is and what your purpose is, and you're so aligned to that and you're walking in alignment with your truth. That's a big thing. A lot of my beautiful girls in my groups that speak to me, they say, Judy, one of the biggest things that you taught us was understanding what our core value is and walking in alignment with those core values every single moment. And so Jess, her core values is love, joy, and freedom. And she says in every single thing that I do, in every post that I do in my business, it has to be in alignment with love, joy, and freedom. And so when we're doing that and when we're making decisions based on what our truth is, then we cannot be impacted by what others say, because it's our truth, and our truth is our truth. And so whatever anyone else says is their stuff, it's not ours, because we know that we're being in alignment with ourselves. And if we can look at our fuck-ups, I like to call them, our fuck-ups as feedback, then they become, it becomes like an invitation, because the only way we can grow is through learning, right? How many of you learn from things that you just did right the first time? You know, you probably didn't learn that much from it because you just did it. But if you've fucked up, if you've had some stuff ups or fuck ups or things that have happened, then you actually have gotten so much value from those things because they've taught you a lot. They've taught you so much. And those are the things, like these challenging moments of the times in life when it feels like we're going down like this and it feels really yucky and uncomfortable. Those moments are where we actually develop new strategies and new tools to be able to go to the next level again. So these things have to happen. The failures have to happen, and they're part of life. They're part of going into business 100%. And when we can actually look at it and say, amazing, yes. When I fuck up, I know I'm learning and I'm moving forward to the next thing. It's growth. It's expansion. It's the only way I'm going to go to that next level is by fucking up. Embrace it. Love it. Get excited about it. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have the feelings of disappointment or resentment or anger or sadness or anything like that. It's not to say that you're not. That is okay. Have the feelings. Release them, express them, get them out, find a space where you can communicate them. You know, in a lot of my groups, I have such sacred spaces where everyone can get in and share and express their voice and share what they need to share to just get it out in a really safe environment where they're supported, encouraged, and not made wrong and not judged. So you've got to find a space like that, and that way you can just be who you are and you can express what you need to express, and then you can come back into your power and go, right, what did that teach me? And you got to get good at asking yourself really good questions like that. What is this here to teach me? Not why me? Why me? Why me as victim? And victim is being at the effect of your life, at the effect of your situation. It's not taking responsibility. So if you're able to actually ask yourself good questions, really intelligent questions, like what is this here to teach me? What has this taught me? What am I learning from this? And you get those learnings and you release the emotions by feeling them and allowing them to move through, then you can actually progress and go and continue to go forward. And the thing is, and the belief that I want to hand over to you right now, and the belief that I have and the belief that I give every single person that I work with, is that you will achieve everything and anything that you set your mind to, as long as you never give up. As long as you know that you will get there, as long as you keep going. So I can achieve anything and everything that I want as long as I keep going. Of course, if you don't keep going, you're not going to make it, right? So if you're committed to actually staying on course and not giving up, and not just being like when the first hit, you know, you cop the first hit that you're like, oh, I'm done, I'm out, I'm going to run back to where it feels safe. So you have to evolve from the level of thinking of working for somebody else, having someone else just give you the stuff, which feels really safe and feels really convenient, but actually it's not. And a lot of you potentially have experienced that right now. If you've worked for somebody else with what we're going through right now in the world, and you've lost the thing that you thought was so rock solid safe, it never was safe. The only safety that you have is when you create it for yourself. And it's something that you are responsible for. You have the responsibility for. And so, yes, that takes something. It takes a lot. It takes willingness. It takes a whole nother level of thinking to be in business and to be an entrepreneur. Because you do have to take way more responsibility for all the things, and you have to develop lots of different skills. So how to overcome fear of failure? Well, firstly, adopt the new belief that there is no failure, there's only feedback. Focus on the times when you do fuck up, that you don't make it mean. Don't give it meaning that I'm a failure and that I'm a fuck up and I'm no good and I'm not worthy and I'm this and I'm this and I'm that. No, don't make it mean that. Live in the realm of now. So in this moment, what is this here to teach me? If I separate all of the meaning, let go of all of that, the facts are that this was here to teach me something. What is it here to teach me? Get the learning, and then it's going to be the most valuable thing on the planet. Get the learnings. They're right there for you. Yeah, Dave. Hey, Kathy. And so, of course, releasing the fear from the past is another phenomenal way of that. But obviously, we're not going to do that today. But I will give you 5 principles for success as well, which are absolute game changer. Like seriously, if you do these 5 things, you'll be successful in anything. And take on the belief that I just gave you as well. Make failure your friend. It's just feedback. Make friends with it. Can you do that? Shake its hand, give it a kiss. Mwah, mwah. Let's be friends. Back to self-responsibility. You see the pattern here? All of these things that I've been speaking about over the last, 4 or 5 days, they all tie in. They all tie in. They all go hand in hand. Responsibility is such a big one. The freedom formula is when you're able to take responsibility, when you're truly committed to something, and when you're integrous with your word. That creates massive freedom. Because seriously, how many times have you said you're going to do something and then you don't do it and you've let yourself down? Not only do you let others down, but most importantly, you let yourself down. Because you say you're going to show up, you say you're going to go in 100% and you don't. Because you're not committed. You're not committed enough. So what is it that's in the way for you to actually commit 100%? Because when you commit 100%, 10 out of 10, when you take responsibility, 10 out of 10, yes, it does require confrontation, resistance, discomfort. It requires that. To achieve anything, it requires that. But if you can take that on and embrace that and know that that's part of the journey, then you're halfway there. So the other thing is anxiety. And so anxiety is a beautiful alarm system that's going on inside of your body. I experienced anxiety myself when I was in an 11-year marriage. I wanted to have a child, and long story short, that didn't happen. I separated from my ex-husband, and I was so fearful of not finding that person and not being able to have the daughter that I really wanted. And so when I went to my NLP training in 2012, the first training, we're sitting there, I trained with Tad and Adriana James, and Tad said, right, we're going to do the anxiety model, and who would like to do it? You can just do it sitting in your seat. Or, there's like 100 people in the room, and I was like, me, hand up. And he said, Judy, what do you have anxiety about? And I said, I have anxiety that I'm not going to meet the men of my dreams and have the daughter that I've always wanted. And so we did this technique that I'm going to do with you, and there was no anxiety there. And then, of course, we got to release fear and do the process of releasing the emotions from the past and clearing all of that, and we set our goals and put them into the future. And I set the goal of the person that I wanted to meet, put that into the future for November, met Curtis in December, and not that long later, the following year, I was pregnant. So this shit fucking works. It actually really works. And I've worked with tons of women who have been in situations where they wanted to meet someone that they, similar situations. And yeah, anyway, I'm diverting off. So stay on this. So anxiety is actually an alarm. I kind of describe it as being an internal alarm system that's going off. Because what happens is when our body experiences anxiety, first I'm going to throw it over to you and say, how does your body feel when you're feeling this anxiety? What happens in your body? Any of you who may have experienced, there you get to see my stairs. I accidentally flipped the screen. Any of you have had anxiety? What happens in your body when you feel it? Could be racing in the chest, it could be sweaty palms, could be flush face, it could be like a certain response that happens could be shaking. And so whatever it is, heart palpitations, panic, yes. And so feel unsettled, yes, that's right. It could be this kind of like agitation experience that goes on. And so this is ultimately what happens. Your unconscious mind is the one that's being told to respond in this way. And your unconscious mind's job is actually to preserve your body, run your body and preserve your body. And so when you start to think about things that create the anxiety, you're telling your unconscious mind to do those things, for the heart to beat faster and start to palpitate, to go tense. Yeah, good one, Kyles. To go tense, to go sweaty, to have these butterflies in the feeling, heart attack style, right? So it's like you're almost having a fucking heart attack, and you're actually communicating to your unconscious mind to create that response because of what you're focusing on. And so what's happening is your unconscious mind listens to your conscious mind because that's its job. Its job is a servant to the conscious mind. You come up with the idea of what it is that you want. And then if you're in alignment with your unconscious mind is solid and you've got the belief system running in alignment with that, then your unconscious mind's job is to go get that goal. So when I decided I was going to finish working in the fitness industry on the 23rd of September, whatever year that was, I was so certain, like so rock solid certain. There was no bone in my body that wasn't certain about that. And so my unconscious mind knew that, and it went out there and it made it happen earlier. And that's usually what happens as well. It helps create it even earlier because its job is to create it as soon as possible when we're in alignment. And so that's what its job is to serve. And so it listens to what goes on in our mind and the pictures that we're creating and the internal dialogue and the sounds and the feelings and everything, are a response to that as well. And it responds in that way, even though it knows it's going against one of its prime directives, which is to keep you safe, right? So it's an alarm bell. It's an alarm bell. It's a system that's going on in your body to actually make you wake the fuck up and say, fuck, I'm creating something that is actually not good for me. I'm focusing on what I don't want, because that is all anxiety is. You're focusing on what you don't want. Focus is the number one thing in all of this. It is the most simplest thing. It's the most simplest concept in the world. It's not the easiest, but it's the most simple. Focus determines everything. Yeah. Thank you for sharing, everyone. So by experiencing the response, this is the alarm bells, which would normally, if an ambulance is coming, we would hear the sound, we would, see the red lights, and if we're driving, we would stop or pull over to the side or slow down, and we would respond, right? And we respond in a certain way. Well, you need to do the same thing and respond in a certain way like you would if you heard the ambulance and you were driving. You need to be able to pull over, slow down, stop, look within, take a moment to get out of this realm of meaning and get present and in the now moment. Get connected into this moment, because in this moment now, is there any anxiety? If you're in this moment right now, is there any anxiety? Yes or no? Right here now with me in this moment, do you have any anxiety listening to me? Yes or no? Makes sense, you're focused. Yes, good, Dave. Glad it's landing. No, of course not, right? In this moment now, there is no anxiety, because right now you're focusing on hearing my voice and what I'm talking about, right? And that you're not thinking about what you don't want, hopefully. No, great. So what creates the anxiety? It's not that you're an anxious person. And when I hear this all the time, it drives me mad. The only way you're an anxious person is because you've just been doing anxiety and focusing on what you don't want, but it doesn't make you an anxious person. See, these are the labels that we give ourselves that keeps ourselves inside the box and inside the fucking realm of meaning. So you're not an anxious person. You're not stuck with the anxiety your whole life, even though that is probably what everyone out there, especially pharmaceutical companies, want you to know so that you can, take something to deal with that symptom, because all it is a symptom. It's not the root cause of what's actually going on. It's the thing that you can see. It's not what needs to be. This is not the thing that we need to fix. It's not anxiety that we need to fix. It's nothing to fix, actually. All there is this clearly tells me that you've not trained your mind to live in the realm of now, and you've not trained your mind to actually focus on what you want. And so we are negatively geared as human beings. We're negatively geared to be on lookout. Are we safe? Are we good? Are we safe? Are we good? Are we protected? Right? But we don't live in an environment now where we need to be on the lookout every single second. We live, in homes, and we're safe here in our homes. And as long as, we take care and we're aware of our surroundings and things like that, we're safe. We don't have to be like on the lookout all the time. So if focusing on what you don't want, and anxiety is fear of the future, and fear of the future not working out how we want it to work out. Yes? Can you relate to this? Is this making sense? So if that is the case and you're focusing on what you don't want, what is the solution? It's really simple. It's to focus on what you want. It's really simple, isn't it? So how do you do that when your conditioning and your programming and your whole life, maybe you've learned to focus on worst case scenario or on what you don't want? Firstly, it's an awareness. Firstly, it's starting to be aware. If you are because I work with a lot of clients with anxiety, a lot of times they wake up anxious and they go, I just wake up anxious. Well, the truth is you don't wake up anxious. The truth is you wake up and you have pictures in your mind, you have a sensation in your body, you have internal dialogue and maybe voices that go on inside your head, and you have a feeling that you're addicted to and that you're trained to wake up to remember again. Because when you do that, you remember that that's who you are, and you're just so used to doing that. And we're humans are creatures of habit and creatures of pattern and sequences. And so firstly is to be able to pay attention to what is going on in your mind. What is creating that? What are you actually focused on? So one of my clients, he would say that I would focus on the dread of the day, of how just it's like Groundhog Day. And so do you think that if you focus on the dread of your day and the gloominess of your day, that you would feel potentially that and maybe feel anxious about the day being the same as that? Oh, just feels gross in my body even just to talk about. Yes, it's not rocket science, Dave, and it's like, it's the thing is being able to practice it and do it, right? And so when I work with my clients one-on-one and in the trainings, we get to actually change the pictures in the mind and change the internal dialogues, because we work a lot with the unconscious mind and with changing those patterns. But I'm going to teach you a technique now that will support you as long as you do it. You got to do it. And of course, it helps a lot when you can release fear and clear fear from the past. That in combination is what I usually do with my clients. But this is at least something that will support you if you're committed to doing it. Because I give people lots of things all the time and they don't do it. They just don't do it. So will you do it? Okay, so let's practice it. You ready? You ready to learn it? So I want you to think of something that you have anxiety about right now. One thing, like something specific. You can't say I'm anxious about everything in my life. Yeah, that's right, Dave. So something that you're actually, like mine, I'm anxious that I'm not going to meet the man and have the child, have the family that I wanted. It was a specific thing, a specific event that had an end date to it. It can't be an ongoingness thing. It's got to have a specific end date to it. And so, good. You got something? Everyone needs to have one specific thing, and you can do this for as many things as you have, and you can write this down or come back to this anytime you need. And great. So I want you now to float out into the future, and I want you to go out 15 minutes. Listen to the words. It's really, really, really important you listen to the words carefully. Go 15 minutes past the successful completion of the event. Keywords: successful completion of the event, that which you thought you had anxiety about. And then turn and look towards now. So you go out into the future, 15 minutes past the successful completion of the event, and you turn and look towards now. And ask yourself, where is the anxiety? Is it there or is it not there? So for me, I went out to an event. I made it up in my own mind, where I actually met someone, and I had my daughter, and I turned 15 minutes past that, and I turn and look towards now, and there was no anxiety. It's gone. It's totally gone. Why? Because I had what I said that I wanted. It was successful. And I'm focusing now on that, having that outcome being met. So there's no anxiety. And so because this is a really important strategy to teach your mind. Good, David. Yes. To teach your mind to go out and turn and look towards now and focus on the successful completion of the event. It actually trains your mind to focus on the success of what it is that you want. Not the worst case scenario, not that it's not working out, not that you're going to go your whole life and never have the thing that you want. Right? And so the more you do this practice, the more times you practice going out to something that you have anxiety about and turning in 15 minutes past and the successful completion of the event, turning and looking towards now and seeing the positive outcome, that it trains your mind to start to focus on what it is that you want, not on what you don't want. So simple, hey? So simple. And so do it for as many things as you need to, and do it over and over and over, and do it 10 times a day if you need to, and practice it and install that in your own mind so that you can start to actually think about more about what it is that you want versus what you don't want. It's an absolute game changer. Woo! So exciting. So here's the 5 principles for success. I'm going to throw these in. Yeah, so great. Yay. Very simple. So the 5 principles of success. Do these 5 things and you will be successful no matter what. Nothing to fear, because you just do these 6 things. 5 things. I added in one more somehow. 5 things. Okay? So the first thing is you need to know what you want. Because a lot of people know what they don't want, but they don't actually know what they want. You need to get really specific. Your unconscious mind needs clear communication, crystal clear communication as to what it is that you want. The clearer, the better. If it's not clear and you're in not sure if I want that thing, then of course there's confusion. Your unconscious mind's like, do you really want that thing? It won't bring it to you because you're not certain that you want it. There's no congruency there. So you've got to be congruent, aligned. Yes, I want that thing. Yes, 100% I'm certain, and get crystal clear on that. Know your outcome, which is a goal. Specific outcome with end date goals are powerful for that. And here's the thing. A lot of my clients are scared of setting goals and having outcomes because they're like, oh my God, but what if I don't get it? Who cares? It's feedback. If you didn't get it, it's feedback for how you showed up, what you did, what you didn't do. Is it the end of the world? No. Most of us set goals that we are so unachievable in a very short space of time. So, make it longer. Or if you get there and if you haven't said it, take on the feedback of what you didn't do or how you didn't show up, and do it better. And know that that's why I didn't do it. It's not because goals don't work. It's not because setting goals doesn't work. It's because I didn't go all in. It's because I didn't do X, Y, and Z. I didn't do the things that I said I was going to do. I wasn't my word. I was out of integrity with myself because I didn't do it. So keep setting goals, but just be real about it. SMART goals is the best way to do it. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. In NLP, we also add on to that they're simple. They can't be convoluted. Yet they're meaningful to you. They need to be your goals, not based on what someone else has done or what you think you should do or someone else thinks you should do. They need to be meaningful to you. They need to be as in now, written in the context of having it now, written in the present tense. They need to be towards what you want, not away from what you don't want, towards what you want. And they also need to be ecological, so they needs to be, for the good of yourself, good for family, good for society, good for the planet. What else? So that's responsible, the other part of the R. SMART. I already said that, towards what you want. Yeah, so I missed the R. I jumped. switch them up. I like to do that. Yeah, okay. That's that. That's the first step. There's 5 steps. Keys, 5 principles for success. First is know your outcome. Secondly is take action, baby. Take action. The thing that they left out in the law of attraction, well, not necessarily in the law of attraction, but in The Secret, was, you know, the action part. You've got to take action. You can't just go, yeah, I'm clear on what I want. Now I'm going to sit back on the sofa and watch Netflix and eat popcorn. No, that doesn't work. So you've got to like truly show up. Show the fuck up. Take action. The third one is have really good sensory acuity. And this is something that I teach in my NLP trainings. And really, this is your ability to read people. It's your ability to notice kinds of things that are going on inside other people, because it tells you a lot. It tells you a lot. So if you're doing business, or if you're working for others, or if you're, any situation where you work with people, it's a really powerful set of tools to be able to support you with the next. Right? So this is number 3, have good sensory acuity to be able to read, have good awareness of what's going on inside of other people that will communicate a lot of really good things to you. That's number 3. Number 4 is have incredible behavioral flexibility. So I've mentioned this over the last 4 days. The person who has the greatest flexibility controls the system. It's one of the NLP presuppositions as well. It's the law of requisite variety, which is the person who is the most flexible in any given situation will control the situation, not from a place of power and domination, but from a place of power. Yes. So when you have, when you're able to make changes in your own state, in your own behavior, in the way that you communicate based on the feedback that you're getting from others, of course you'll achieve anything that you want. So from moment to moment to moment, these things are going to support you to achieve what it is that you want. If you're so stuck on your way in one way, and stuck in kind of like in this perspective of just like there's only this way, then that is inflexibility. So having the flexibility requires a different level of thinking, requires doing the work up here, requires, releasing all your stuff from the past, so that you're able to be more adaptable and more willing to be the chameleon. So that's number 4 is behavioral flexibility. And number 5 is to operate from a psychology and a physiology of excellence. And so this really is one of the foundational pieces of what we teach in NLP. It is, a psychology and a physiology of excellence, because it's all about modeling. It's modeling excellence and learning so much about the mind and how the mind works. Like even with the NLP model of communication, if you got to listen to that and really understand that piece and understand that everything that happens outside of us impacts our internal representation, the pictures, the sounds, the smells, the taste, all the things that are going on inside of our head, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, gustatory, olfactory, internal dialogue, all of those things that are going on impacts our state, right? And our physiology and our behavior. So if our state and our physiology, if we're masters of our state and our physiology, don't you think we're going to be able to produce the kind of behavior that's going to be able to support us to achieve anything we want? Hell yes. So most people are okay with average. They're okay with mediocre. And guess what? If you want to actually achieve phenomenal things in this lifetime, excellence is the marker. And if you're committed to that, if you're committed to operating from a state of physiology and a psychology of excellence, then of course, success is yours, because that is going to be massively related to what you either do or you don't do. So it's like how you stand, how you talk, the kinds of words that you use, the things that you say, how you talk inside of your own mind, your ability to switch out of a disempowered state Now, up here for me, when I have a disempowered state, I can shift that like lightning speed. It's like athletes, you know, some of my clients, they say, oh, you know, I feel like I'm going backwards because I've had a bad week or whatever. And I say, no, you've never gone backwards. It's just that you're staying in it. You're staying in it. You haven't been able to condition yourself to get out of it quickly. It's like if you compare football players, you've got like the kids that play on the weekend, and then you've got the high level athletes, the pros. It's not that the pros don't have doubt about what they're capable of and what they can do, right? The kids that just play in the local, you know, football club, they will have lots of doubt about what they're capable of and what they can achieve, and how, if they lost, how they feel about that afterwards, and what goes on inside their head and all of that. They're not as trained, they're not as conditioned mentally to take that on and to perform in that way and to respond like a high level trained athlete. And high level athletes, they have trainers for the physical aspect, they have trainers for their mental component, they have trainers for all different areas, right? Strength and conditioning, the technical side of it. And so these guys, the professional athletes, it's not that they don't have the same, similar, maybe not exactly the same, but similar kinds of thoughts, let's say doubts or emotions where they're, you know, just not feeling it or whatever, or they're in any kind of disempowered state, or lethargic or tired or depressed or sad or angry or whatever. It's just that they're able to shift it really quickly, come back into their power. And what is the one thing that enables us to shift that, to shift from being in a disempowered state to being in an empowered state, is go out of the realm of meaning and get into the realm of now and focus on what it is that you want. Focus on the outcome that you want. And have zero fucking toleration for going back to the old patterns of focusing on what you don't want. And that worst case scenario, you have to just be like, you can jam it with, you know, like pattern interrupts and things like that. Let's say you have an idea and you want to go for it. Mel Robbins has a great little strategy, which is like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have the idea, boom, you just go. Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and go. Because sometimes we get this intuition, an idea that comes to us and we want to do it, but then the analytical side of us takes over and talks us out of it, you know? So if we don't let that part kick in and we just follow our intuition, we can jam that internal dialogue with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and go. It's another good one. Especially if you're getting out of bed in the morning when you don't really want to. You could be like, I might get out of bed and go and do my workout. And then after that, you turn like, but bed is so warm and cozy. Like, I really need to take care of myself and relax in bed a little bit longer. You know, and we just justify and talk ourselves into staying in bed. But if we just went, idea, I want to go to the gym. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Out of bed. We're already going, already there. So that's a couple of, other little tidbits there. But those are the 5 principles for success. Do you think if you applied those 5 principles and you focused on what you want, that you would not care about fear of failure, and you would be not worried about the future of how it might look or might not go or whatever it is? And that could be related to health, it could be related to business, it could be related to any area of life. Hello. Yeah, the 5-second rule. Amazing. Any questions? I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being here today, beautifuls. What's your biggest takeaway, or any questions that you've got? I'd love to hear it in the comments. I'm so grateful for you being here and sharing this energy with me today, and for your comments and your involvement. It means a lot to me, and I'm super, super grateful for being here on a Sunday night with me on a Sunday night, live from my new home. Hey, Francis, I'm just about to wrap it up, beautiful. Hey, you've been in my head. That's exactly how I convince myself it's okay to stay. I know it. I know. So funny. All right, guys. Well, stay tuned for tomorrow. I'm going to be going live tomorrow. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about. Something really cool. I'm going to start going into a little bit more of mind-blowing stuff, some quantum stuff over the next couple of days. I'm not sure when exactly, but it's coming. Thank you, Gemma. You're amazing as well. Beautiful. So grateful for you. Yes, watch the replay, Francis. All right. See you guys. Over and out. Mwah. Love you lots. Have a fantastic Sunday evening, or Sunday if it's if you're in the UK or in the US. Bye.